Thanatos climbed up my shoulder and guided me back inside. From there, it was towards the stairs leading up.
Over there.
I followed his outstretched arm to a bookcase and tilted my head. You want me to grab a book?
2, actually.
And the metal is going to be inside?
In a sense.
How can a single metal be inside 2 books? Is it broken, or...? No, the secret is knowledge, Dave. I took a step back, looking over the bookcase. This is like the one that leads to the library from the conservatory, isn't it?
Well done. The 2 you want are those.
He points to the 2 books, either of which look out of place, but that seemed to be the point. Much like the other bookcase, I heard the click.
Now we'll just push that aside and we can go in.
Inside, it seemed fairly ordinary as rooms went. Nothing seemed off in any case. Just a small desk with the walls lined with books on what shelves were available. That's a weird sentence, anyway.
Yeah, I was just trying to parse that and it didn't really...
It's one of those things, there's a few sentences, probably more than a few, but there are sentences in this game that at first glance you can't quite explain what's wrong, but it's wrong. And the only way I can put it is it's like that way that like we've all internalized the really specific order in which all of the adjectives have to be whenever you use multiple adjectives. Like there's just like a, when you see it listed out, you're like, oh yeah, it does. I guess that is true, but it's hard to like just on the fly say like what it means. Like, oh, color, shape, location, time, all those like the different adjectives that describe a thing happen in a specific order instinctively at some point. And so there's just sentences where you're like, that on what shelves were available. I'm like, the shelves are introduced after the books, but like we already understand the idea of books on walls and filling the library. So I'm like, what? And it implies a scarcity of shelves, which I guess is an interesting descriptor to include when you're talking about an overstuffed library, but instead the emphasis is on the wrong syllables, so you're like thinking about the shelf scarcity instead of the overabundance of books, so it kind of makes you forget the sentences about books in a way. Like, I don't know how to put it, but that's basically what I mean. Like, there's something very interesting about why that doesn't quite work. Has this been here the whole time? I sat down on the desk and looked around. On the... Oh, there I am. Okay, sat Thanatos down on the desk. I'm like... Very presumptive, Dave. Were you raised in a barn?
Sure has. Normally Oswin uses it. A couple others have found it already, too.
Who?
Roswell and Haas both have. Not that they did anything with the information after seeing the room was empty.
Huh.
Time's ticking. You're looking for a book.
Multiple people found this secret library and then it just stayed a mystery. Another secret passage.
Not this time. Oswin's sister hid this one away too.
Alright, then what's the book?
The Three Little Pigs.
That's just a book about a hate crime now. Oh, I know that one.
Not this version.
Oh, how is this one different?
God damn it, Thanatos, stop yapping so I can take a bite of my peanut butter cup. Peanut butter, a famously good voice acting food.
It has some appeal. It disables you for a while, but there is the part where it's quiet.
You want me to tell you a story, or do you want the medal?
I definitely like explicitly order emergency meals that are just way less healthy for me because I'm like, I can eat that quietly when I'm like out of time before a stream. Both.
Find the book and I'll give you an abridged version.
Why didn't you dodge? Any clues, or should I just start searching?
Get looking, I'll wait.
You're looking for a book on Ice 9. I started at one end and slowly scanned the books with my fingers running over the spines, making sure I didn't miss any by accident. I took it slow. While I look, can I ask you anything? Can I ask you something?
What?
What were you planning on doing after you drugged Benson?
Going to find something else, too.
To do.
Oh,
no, I mean,
to do.
Were you just going to leave us to deal with that?
All you'd know is that he'd fallen unconscious and likely All you'd know is that he'd fallen unconscious and likely a short coma.
Yeah, that's not work.
The original plan was to hand him over unconscious to sate Dominic's want for as little complications as possible.
An easy job.
Right.
I guess... Okay, I can steel man this a little bit, because... in the moment I'm like, what the fuck do you mean little complications is possible? This is the most complicated plan ever, and I don't even know what it's accomplishing. So how... But I guess I can argue that he means little complications is possible because Benson's removed from the picture. But I still don't understand why Benson... I don't understand why taking one person is helpful to anybody, and I don't understand especially why it would happen 2 days later instead of immediately, which is how you would do a hostage situation.
Right. Then when the time would come, we'd renegotiate the deal. That's where Roswell comes in.
What were you going to have Roswell do?
Follow Dominic, obviously. Someone's going to need to find out where the way off the mountain is, and Benson is a much bigger prize. They're not going to notice Roswell tailing them if he can keep a low profile.
That's a stupid plan.
This is a stupid plan, and sending Roswell specifically is a bad plan.
Yes, that's the stupidest part of the plan. I'm like, there are multiple people who... there's at least one person who is good in the woods, and it's not Roswell, and Roswell's dying? And it's explicitly, at this point in the timeline, in the other route, it was reinforced that, like, he's really bad at stealth because he's dying. Like, that was the entire concern. I'm like, oh no, do we have to leave Roswell to die because he's dying? And they're gonna have him be Snake Eater now? That's how you get crab battles. And the worst case scenario...
He's fated to die soon anyway. Yeah, most efficient use of the pieces we have.
What?
I really...
Most efficient use
I'm a
of the pieces
proponent.
we have.
I'm a proponent of cruel math. Like I think it's underrated in situations like this where it's like, in some sense, I can sympathize with Roswell being like, if we're running from a bear and one of us falls and it's me, don't try to pick me up. Let the bear eat me. I'm poisoned meat. Like, that's fine. I'm fine with that. That works. That is logic that I would not even for a second argue with or feel morally scrupulized about. But send the sick and dying kid who could keel over at any moment, who has an annoying voice and a really bad tendency, yes, to be loud and obnoxious, to tail the bad guys, to then come back to let us know where the one way off the mountain is a pretty shitty plan.
It's like, we're talking about a character that has a significant chance of just dying in that time window on their own. Let alone, like, just the fact that he's uniquely bad at the thing you're saying you should do. Looking back at where my hand was, I hooked my finger into the top of the spine and pulled it carefully from its spot on the shelf. So it's in here, huh?
Well, no point waiting. Open it up and get the metal.
I don't have to talk through every step of this. Okay, I'm going. I just, if you don't know what I mean, imagine acting out the scene we just read. Like, every single step of, like, Get that book. Get that book. Sticks my finger inside it. This book? What are you waiting for? Get the book. Okay, I'm going. You're grabbing a book. What the fuck is this interaction? Like, if you try to imagine the physical people existing and acting the scene, like in a movie, you'd be like, what are they doing? Why is this taking them several minutes? Like, why are they speaking about it so much? I did so and found a section of it hollowed out. The pages hadn't been glued together, but the bulk of the book, or maybe its age, kept the thing together. Its age kept it together? This is a bulky children's story.
Nothing about that story is for children, Dave. Except all the parts that are for children.
All the cartoon animals are fuck. Carefully setting the book down, I picked up the metal. Leo. No! It's not for children! But that wasn't at all that was in the book. A lone photograph left underneath it. It's Leo, shirtless. What's this?
Slathered in TV dinner. How delicious.
No, I meant this shirtless photo from in Echo. Bees! It's Nico's bee.
Take it in, Dave. Who do you think these three are? I don't know. Maybe the three fucking boars. Are you stupid? Shut the fuck up, Thanatos. You don't need to say shit like that.
I can't believe they're the real-life three little piggies. Wow. Well, it's obviously Osmond and his siblings, right?
That's right.
But why is this here?
You'd have to ask Florencia. Which is a bit hard at the moment.
Yeah, it's just so strange.
Is it that strange? Go on.
I have no idea. I have no idea what's supposed to be strange about this. You're in their house and there's a photo of them in a book.
Exactly.
It's just like it's just kind of a cute, dumb detail that they hid a photo of their siblings in a book with about 3 pig siblings. I don't know mainly because I don't know what to read about the narrative of that book in this setting now. But
yeah,
let's see. That Osmond was a kid once, like us. That the people here were once just kids. Oh God, those are a child, kids. Dave. I guess they're supposed to be kids, yeah.
You can tell by the fact that there's a big ass B for scale.
Yeah. It's fucking Imger's
B
favorite,
for scale.
Yeah, a favorite reference. It does give me Pigpen vibes. I am back in the Pigpen a little bit. The polyamorous furry comic. That Osmond was once a kid. Blah, 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 blah.
And
did they go through anything like this? If they did, could that be why it's happening to us? I breathed out, shaking my head.
He breathed out this time.
There it goes. Yeah, he stopped sighing out a few hours ago, I think. Like, and then, but he either sighs or he breathes out, which, I guess that's more accurate. It's hard if saying he breathed out is almost less descriptive, just because that's always happening. But I get that this one's emphasized. But now Osmond's dead, and wondering about that probably doesn't matter. Now that Osmond's dead, the passage of time is no longer irrelevant to my experiences. I put the photo back in the book and placed it back on the shelf, pocketing the metal.
What are you planning on doing with that?
I don't know. Show the others for starters, and then leave it with the rest?
And
while I'm at it, think about what I'm going to do about Jack?
Good.
I don't know what you could possibly expect me to do. Have I done anything notable in the past, or...?
I don't know. Whatever happens, it happens out in the woods, way outside my maximum range.
And no one tells you afterwards?
Let's just say other things get in the way.
Alright, well, I'm just gonna accept that, figure it out, Maybe I'll ask the others.
There you go.
But before I go, what happens in this version of the story?
Right. The story is the same for the most part. 3 pigs, 3 houses. You get the gist.
Can't believe we're taking this on faith, but we had to explain Scrabble. And what's different?
There's no wolf. So it's not the same story. So it's objectively just not the same story.
It's the... It's not like, it's the 3 little pigs, but it's cyberpunk. It's like, it's the 3 little pigs, but the entire plot and conflict is gone. Then how's the story function? Isn't the big bad wolf kind of important to how the story goes?
The first little pig leaves home, gets sick and dies, poisoned by the influence of the outside world, and ultimately done in by a rabbit that offered them a piece of chocolate.
Clearly not
Don't
the Easter
understand
Bunny, then.
that. What?
I don't know. Are pigs poisoned by chocolate, or they just mean like they offered chocolate then killed him the rabbit killed him unrelatedly from the chocolate itself as bait? Really not the Easter Bunny then, but doesn't the Easter Bunny give you candy? I guess it's eggs. I don't know. I'm not gonna let them lose my mind.
Don't you love it when the Easter rabbit comes to lay his eggs in your Easter garden? This is the Easter tale we're all familiar with. The second goes somewhere far away and is presumed dead. This one was also offered chocolate, but instead turned into a rabbit. But that's as good as dead from the author's eyes.
What?
Come on, Dave. Don't you remember the great rabbit tale of Easter? This is the tale we all know.
Is this one Pinocchio? Like what? I don't understand. Wait. I took a moment to look for also just presumed dead and as good as dead are 2 different things. Whatever. I took a moment to look for an author's name on the spine, but nothing stood out.
And the third.
Survived?
Yes.
And that's it? He just survived?
They survived, yes. No, the rabbit didn't. Cooked alive in the house after trying to burn it down.
That's really not a children's story. There's a lot of people being cooked alive in children's stories.
I told you that already. No need to have a sweeping epic for children when there aren't any pictures either. We literally just looked at a picture.
Yeah, well, I guess it was not in the book. I mean, it was in the book, but it wasn't from the book. Except that book did have a picture. Well, here's that conversation.
You know what I meant.
I think what bothers me is there wasn't really a lesson to learn, was there? Just that be racist. Be wary of rabbits because they're going to poison you or turn you into one of them, or I guess try and burn down your house?
Outside being wary of rabbits specifically, there was no lesson. This is a shit book, Dave. It's a shitty book.
But also it's the plot.
lesson is to read better books, Dave.
It's also the plot of the game. The first sibling died somewhere, but Florencia became a mafia dragon lady, and then Oswin's house is burned down or something. Racist?
Pretty much. Regis liked to have such books on hand, apparently.
Regis Hammond?
Right, meaning that'd be Oswin's father.
Huh. Alright.
Before I forget, probably best you head downstairs now before you miss it. I'll catch up.
Something important?
You'll find out when you get there.
I left Thanos in the study and headed back downstairs with Leo. With the Leo medal in hand, not with Leo. Just, what else am I meant to do? I froze on the spot and decided to listen in, wondering what was happening.
Is there anything we can do? I'm not a doctor, but he doesn't look good.
I inched forward and stuck my head around the corner, wondering what they were talking about. Well, we can't just leave him like that, can we? Oh, it's Roswell immediately being a bad spy. Sal looked over my way, catching my eye, but didn't say anything, instead turning to Dean.
I would love it for Roswell to die, but this is an incredibly inconvenient time and way for him to die, which is to say, dying extremely uselessly.
I can't get over the plan.
I agree. We can't leave Roswell like that. It's italicized like it's the name of a book.
It's italicized because he just looked at us and noticed that we're listening, so he's filling us in, even without actually calling out that we're here. He knows us eavesdropping, so he's like catching us up. Dean gave him a funny look, and I took that as my cue to enter the conversation. Did I hear something about Roswell? What happened?
There's something very sitcom timing about, like, the implication of, like...
We'll send Roswell off to be Snake Eater.
I was gonna say even more than that, just the taking my cue and to enter the conversation being like, you hear the audience laugh track, like, what's up with that Roswell I'm hearing about, as he walks in. Just a little silly.
Yeah, there's some goofiness just in the fact that, like, for me it's like a slightly unnecessary complication, just because, like, Dave should instantly be able to follow who we're talking about anyway, but also, like, there was no continued pretense of him staying out of the conversation and listening from afar, so it was just unnecessary, because immediately everyone knows he's there, so it's like, this is pointless. I'm gonna rejoin real quick because the audio is garbled. Discord is good. Oops, don't turn on camera. We're having.
What if instead of Discord being bad, it was good?
Yeah, what if Discord was good instead of bad? Discord's getting, like, worse actively, chat. It's rough, but we need to use it to screen share the visual novels, so we can't use the TeamSpeak server we're now using for Baldur's Gate, which is frustrating. But the popping keeps happening. Discord's just a bad service, and we all pay for it, so that's fucked up. Like, it was better when it was free. It was actively a better service when we weren't paying for it.
That's an understatement.
Thanks,
That
Sal.
was not the voice. That was not the voice. It happens sometimes. Yeah, seemed alright for a little bit, but then took a turn for the worse.
And we aren't doing anything to help? Is there anything we can do? None of us are doctors. What about Benson? We can't ask him? He's still unconscious, alive, but we can't wake him.
Orlando's with him at the moment. So it's not as if he's been left by himself.
Who, Benson or Roswell?
Sorry, Orlando is with Roswell. We left Tyson with Benson.
Oh, okay. So, what do we do? That's what I want to know. What is Tyson doing alone with Benson?
Dean, we don't know.
Just imagining Tyson staring down at Benson, just like, yep. Still not a doctor.
Dean, we don't know. Look, I'm gonna go find out how Tyson is doing. Maybe Dave has some ideas on what's best for Roswell.
I turned to Sal, scratching my head. How long has Roswell been out of it? I didn't think I was gone for that long.
We came inside for coffee and almost knocked him over. Said something about needing to find you and almost collapsed into Dean.
Then after we grabbed Orlando, we're about to come find you. Well, I'm here now. We continued into the dining room to find Orlando rubbing Roswell's back as he sat in the chair.
I'm okay. I'll be okay.
Roswell, what happened? Is there anything we can do, or... He turned to face me, briefly, but it was as the others had said. He looked out of it, out of breath, eyes dilated. Part of me wondered if he even knew I was there.
I just...
Hey, don't talk. You're just gonna wear yourself out. Roswell started to nod quickly before he passed out, and then and there on the table. Hey, Roswell! Sal rushed forward and checked Roswell over. His temperature, his pulse.
He's breathing, but he doesn't look comfortable. He looks like he's in pain.
Well, do something then. We can't just leave him like this. I'll get the axe. This is what my title screen was always foreshadowing. I stepped back out into the foyer and immediately called out. Thanatos!
No need to yell, I'm already here.
He was sitting on the stairs, patiently, clearly knowing I was going to come yelling. What's happening with Roswell?
What do you think?
Thank you. What do we do?
Nothing? Not as if there's anything to do about it.
But what about tomorrow? What about your plan that you had in mind for him?
Everything's going as it should, don't you worry.
You're supposed to fail and die. I'm gonna blow you all up again. You knew this was going to happen and didn't say anything?
What would you have done if I told you? Not as if you could cure him.
But, Thanatos.
Sheesh. You go crying my name out like that and I'm gonna put you under again.
He stood up and made a show of dusting his hands off before gesturing me closer.
Or maybe we should go downstairs so you can give putting the password in a try.
There's a password?
There might be. He doesn't have the normal tells, but he's almost certainly lying.
I got so caught off guard by Hoster in the conversation.
Yeah, I did too. I saw the purple text and like literally was like, who is this?
Uh?
Who would you rather believe, Dave?
That even a question? Haas. Absolutely, for sure. Believe Haas.
I don't understand this. Because Thanatos is misleading us. Or not misleading us. Thanatos is misleading us here if Haas is telling the truth. But the thing is that Thanatos is already meddling and is already telling us like the actual solutions to things. So why would he lie to us about a password right now if his goal is to get us to do something? It's not like he's like playing coy to see the different, the different outcomes. Thanatos is literally at this point deliberately leading us to the correct answer. So why would he now be like...
It's getting bad.
Channel switched.
So, what I was saying is, it doesn't make any sense that Thanatos would be lying right now, because up until this point, Thanatos' entire shtick has been leading us directly to the solutions because he's sick of dying all the time. Like, that's ostensibly his characters. He wants us to get to the correct ending, right? But then if he's actually lying and Haas is telling the truth here, the thing that's going on in the story doesn't make sense, because why would he lie to us right now? What is the point? He's not fucking around to get different things to happen. That doesn't make any sense. He's literally...
I mean, Thanatos does just lie to us to get us to go places, essentially. Like akin to like when he lured us outside to blow everyone up. So he might. So there's two things. Like one, he could be luring us there just to. He could be luring us there to prime ourselves for a password for later that we then have to come back to or something, which leads to it being a mixed thing where it's like we won't be able to do it now, but we will be able to do it quote unquote now, but after we've died. But he also does just like. He does just like not tell the truth about why he's taking us somewhere, even though it is his goals on a regular basis, because he's like not allowed to be upfront about anything.
Sure. But the thing about this that's specifically strange is that he's like, Dave, I need you to do something specific. I'm going to meddle and just tell you where the fucking medals are. I'm gonna get in this and do it. Also, you could go downstairs and do a password, a thing that specifically has a cause and effect in this story. And then Haas is like, lying, there is no password, you can't do that right now. And Thanatos is like, whoops, you got me. It's like, what was the point of that? What was your purpose here? What did you just achieve? You're already breaking your rules. So why are you doing this? Anyway, that was all I was saying. Real nice, Junior.
Ty made a move to kick Thanatos off the stairs, but was effortlessly sidestepped.
Listen, you want some help or not?
Help for Roswell or help for what exactly?
Dave, think about what he's offering you.
I'm thinking. I've been
No, you're
thinking
not.
too.
I know it hurts so much.
What about? Say they come for us tomorrow, right? Why don't we just fucking bail?
Big Dog. Is that his nickname? They're best friends.
Yeah, that's come up a few
so
times.
that's a nickname. Big Dog, we've talked about that not being an option.
Nah, I get the road thing. I mean, just not being in the fucking house. I don't get it. I know, Dave. I know.
Yeah, we're aware. You mean we just be outside?
Hide in the woods or whatever. Yeah. Wait until they just get bored and just come back when they leave.
Yeah, go ahead and try that.
We have. That tone almost sounds like it's not going to work.
You tell me, what do you think?
I scratched my chinny chin chin, thinking it over. If we hide nearby, so we know when it's safe to come back, you've probably seen it, which means you know how well that goes, even if we don't come back.
I'll save you the effort and say they know the woods better than you do. And there's less of them, and Dean and Dominic are about equivalent. Excuse me? I don't believe that for a second.
Yeah, I don't think that Dean can put up a fight against Dominic.
Dominic's sprite is like 3 times Dean's size.
He's also a murderer. Like, it's just different when you're a hired hand that is used to this shit versus a guy who wants to, I don't even remember what Dean's deal is. What does he do? I guess he's a gardener. I don't remember what his, like,
he stands in the
was.
garden and looks at the pumpkins.
He was gonna like prove himself at the family business or something, but I cannot remember what it was because it came up in like the first episode and we've never talked about it again. It's just not important about his character. Or it's super important about his character, but characters don't exist outside their routes. One of those. Sounds like we're screwed.
Unless the exchange tomorrow goes well, yeah?
With Benson out of commission and now Roswell unconscious. Speaking of, Benson's still sleeping. Seems fine otherwise.
Assuming you haven't gone and drugged him while we weren't looking. Me, do something like that.
It does sound like something you'd do, yeah.
Well, I didn't. He's legitimately catching up on his sleep.
So we can just see what Benson thinks when he wakes up, right? As if there's any other options.
Without medicine for Roswell, we're getting closer to being desperate, though.
When we hit that point, what are we meant to do?
That's when you turn to me for help.
Meaning what?
You know exactly what that means.
Well, I don't know shit.
It's not that hard to track, Tyson. Now, we don't need to be so hasty there. Who knows what the morning will bring?
But it's not even lunchtime.
Hardly the point he's making, Dave.
Well, whatever the point is, I have no idea what we're meant to be doing now.
Do us a favor and take care of Dave for a bit. Time for me to have a chat with Haas in Orlando. About what? We'll get to that when you've taken me to Orlando. I'm not giving you a lift.
Haas was already walking back towards the dining room, ignoring Thanatos' gesture to let up. Uppies! Uppies!
Not this time either, huh?
He'd probably mess up his mane or whatever.
In any case, you two do some talking. I'll check in later.
He ran after Haas, disappearing into the other room. So, we gonna talk? He looked around before sizing me up. Guess so? Lead the way, Ty. Yeah. At this point, I'm definitely edging towards the idea that the game would be more interesting without Thanatos.
Yes.
I don't know. They'd have to write something else, and somebody would have to make choices ever or do anything ever. But like, Thanatos' shtick of constantly referring to the fact that he's seen multiple timelines and, oh wow, you're doing that this time, huh? But also just eating up 50% of all the dialogue, but never always refusing to say anything is just like, okay, well, this is tiring. This isn't. You can get the same gist and have a more mysterious and more effective character by just having Thanatos show up as this harbinger of doom right before each bad end or something. Like, fuck. Like almost like the weird narration you get whenever Raiden fucks up and makes a time paradox in like the second version of Metal Gear Solid 3. Like he just like pops in and you're like, you've created a time paradox. Like having Thanatos be some kind of mysterious administrator character that shows up very briefly in specific timelines and isn't like a full-fledged character that's constantly interacting like they are one of the people that came here on the bus would probably work better while still conveying everything about what he does anyway. That's where I am right now.